Hi. So today I just wanted to take kind of a minute to talk about today is especially stressful and anxiety-filled day. I'm doing my residency and it's been kind of crazy. So I thought today would be a really good day to kind of like film with my anxiety being like really, really high. I've paced all morning and not sleeping doesn't help. We have an insane amount of homework, but my anxiety has kind of like taken a toll today. So I thought today would be a good day to like kind of like sit down and talk and then kind of go into the backstory. So as I mentioned in my first video, I've had anxiety since I was a kid. A lot of it was due to childhood trauma, things that I experienced, and it has followed me into my adult life. And I've been seeking help on and off for years, and oddly enough, my PhD is in psychology. So I'm really good at helping others, but not good at helping myself. So that's something that it's kind of a struggle, but my anxiety was probably at its all-time high when I was married. And I was with this guy for 10 years, and I was married to him for 5. Not saying that all the times with him were bad, but looking back, it's really hard to find the good points. And I know I'm just kind of like jumping around. It's kind of like therapy, you know, like you start talking and then your ideas, and then like you jump from one thing and then you realize something's bothering you that you had no idea was bothering you. And it's kind of like you don't really have a clear direction because things just keep coming up. So as I was saying, I was married to him for 5, and we have a beautiful 4-year-old sassy little girl. But I divorced back in 2019. And right after I divorced, my anxiety got so much better. And I realized a lot of it was because I wasn't being me. I was focused on being a wife. I was focused on being a mother. I was focused on making sure everybody else was happy, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And it wasn't until we divorced and I started making friends and started doing all kinds of things, I realized I have to take care of me. So my anxiety got so much better. And then it got really, really bad again when I decided to start dating. And then I realized dating's probably not for me yet. And that's okay. But right after we divorced, I went through like a really dark period where I was ready to just pack up and move. I didn't want to be a mom. I didn't want to be an employee. I didn't want to be anything. I just wanted a fresh start. I wanted something new. And I was really close to doing that. I mean, so close to doing that, to where I look back and I'm like, dang, like, was I really willing to just leave my daughter? But that is how dark those times felt. And looking back, I'm like, that's not the right thing to do. That was really selfish of me. And I'm glad I didn't do it. But there was a point where I was seriously considering it. And it wasn't until I was on Facebook one day and I was scrolling. And I happened to come across an interview of this group, no idea who they were, but I think they were like on the Ellen show or something. And I thought they were funny. I was like, who are these clowns? They're hilarious. And I kept watching. I was like, okay, like they're really, really funny. And then, you know, Facebook that offers you like recommended things based on what you've liked on Facebook. And it was like one thing after another. So eventually I was taken to YouTube and I fell down the rabbit hole, and this is how I discovered BTS. And K-pop has been a big part of helping me cope with my anxiety, specifically BTS, because of their message And it's something that I never in a million years thought would be a coping mechanism for me. It's something that I never thought, like, if I turned on their music, that it would be helpful or motivational. I've never looked at music in that sense until I found them. And I mean, we all know how K-pop is. You fall down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden you're like, I just wanted to know their names, and then you know everything and you know who they are just by who's breathing. But it was very helpful. I connected the most with the Wings album. I feel like a lot of people do who were kind of struggling. I came in during the Boy With Love era, and but I was drawn to the Wings album. Actually, I think the first song I ever heard them sing was the acoustic live version of No More Dream, and that's when I fell in love with their voices. But I think the first music video I saw was Fake Love, but it was Blood, Sweat, and Tears that drew me in. And I could only remember like bits and pieces of the music video because I had no idea the song titles, nothing. I could just remember the imagery, and it was something that I just connected to, and I couldn't figure out why. I mean, obviously I didn't know what the song was about. I didn't know enough Korean at that point. So when I found the music video and I watched it, and then I just went down the hole, and then I found all of the other music videos, and then I found more that was associated with the Wings era, and then I found out like what the Wings era actually meant, and then it registered to me like why I connected to it so much. Even though I didn't know what they were saying or what it was about, it was still something that I was able to connect to. And like I said, after learning what it was about, it made so much sense to me why I was able to connect to it. So when I found out about their message, I was like, this is amazing. But then when I started to learn about who they are as people and how everything they do has some sort of meaning, it made me connect to them even more. And it made me realize that, like, a lot of people are going through this struggle, and I'm not alone. And that's part of the reason why they became such a big coping mechanism for me. Listening to, I don't like sad music, but listening to their like upbeat songs and things like that, it just instantly brings this wave of like calm over me. And just to know that these seven men want everyone in the world to be happy, and they do so much just to make sure that these people are happy, is astounding to me. And they all have their own struggles, and they're open about their own struggles, which was so helpful to me. But overall, in general, not just BTS, but K-pop as a whole has become something that has helped me tremendously. It's a hobby. It's something where you feel like you know these people even though you don't, and they don't know who you are, but they share so much of their lives and their struggles, and it makes you realize that everyone in the world is facing something. And I've never been one to say, oh, my problem's worse than everyone else's, because it's not. There's people who have things a lot harder than I do, and I recognize that, but it also put things in perspective that everyone in the world is going through something, and these famous people who have almost everything that we normal people crave are still struggling. And so I just turn on some K-pop songs when I'm having like a really, really bad day, and it helps to calm me down, and it's really helped to keep my anxiety in check for the most part. And when I was doing therapy, my therapist told me, she goes, music is so crucial to helping us cope, and it affects our mood. Some people, they listen to sad songs because they think it'll just help them cry and like get it out and get it over with. I can't do that. I don't want to cry. I would rather listen to something happy and perk up my mood than sit there and cry. And that's just me. But having a therapist acknowledge that music does affect the soul, music does affect our mood, it does directly impact us, it helped me, because I felt like I was going crazy by using music as something to help me deal with all the anxiety that I was feeling. And honestly, if it wasn't for finding BTS after my divorce, I have no idea where I would be at. I have no idea the decisions that I would have made. And purely when I found them, BTS says, you find us when you need to. And that's true. I did find them when I needed them. And the fact that I was able to connect to something and to find something that was able to keep me on the right path, like, I'll forever be grateful, and they'll always hold a special place in my heart, you know, until the end of time, because, you know, they save millions of people's lives, and people don't understand that. People just think it's music. Oh, you just like them because they're attractive or whatever. But people don't understand, we like them for their message, for who they are as individuals. And they do so much. And if they could hear every person say thank you, I think that they would be so overwhelmed, because they really truly do not understand the impact that they've had on people in their everyday life. And I think that if they knew, it would provide them a lot of comfort too. Oh, I'm getting emotional. But I know that this whole journey was to talk about, like, our anxiety, and I've rambled and gotten off topic 1,000 times, because that's just what I do. But it's also not just about anxiety, but how K-pop has helped us, because people just, they don't understand. I get made fun of for liking K-pop all the time, and people say nasty things to me, and I used to be kind of worried about it, but now I'm like, you don't get the right to tell me what I can and can't like. And on top of that, you have no idea what they've done for me. And it's not just BTS. Like I said, it's mainly BTS, but I mean, like, it's K-pop in general. It's helpful. It's an escape. So yeah, that's my ramble for today. Overly stressed today, more emotional than usual. Have had no sleep, and I'm getting ready to go for day 2 of residency. So it's kind of an overwhelming thing. So I'll probably do another video sometime this week, because I guarantee you I'll probably have another breakdown, because last night I came home from my residency and cried and did homework and had a drink and then cried some more. Because it's really hard to be ripped to shreds about something that you're passionate about and something that you've worked really hard to get to. And I know they're doing it to help us, and I know everything that they say is constructive criticism, but it's still really hard to be torn down, and everything being nitpicked. So that's kind of my struggle. So let's hope today's a better day, and hopefully this video makes some sort of sense to you, because it was just kind of all over the place. So yeah, bye.